What's up, friends? Happy Friday. Is it Friday today?
Friday.
Friday fun day. Hopefully you are having an amazing morning, evening, afternoon, wherever in the world you're tuning in from. My wife and I are out on our morning walk, and we were just talking about relationships and how when people get into relationships, there's a really big question and thought to consider. When you're choosing to fall in love with this person, when you're getting all excited about them, one big question is, are you falling in love with the core of who they are, which is not going to change, or are you falling in love with the features and benefits, the outside stuff, the parts of who they are, specifically the ones that you see potential in, and you're imagining how they're going to evolve into this amazing woman or man that you imagine they can become. And what's interesting is when you fall in love with the core of who someone is, their heart, what they really believe, what they love, their core values, the deepest part of who they are, that doesn't change a whole lot. Their behaviors, whether they like to work out or like to party or eat healthy or eat junk food, or whether they like playing video games or working out or sports or whatever, features and benefits on the outside, that stuff evolves. We grow as humans, we have different moments of life that come and go, and the outside stuff tends to evolve and adapt to who we're hanging out with, where we're living, the environment we're in, all kinds of stuff. And if you're falling in love with the features and benefits, I hate to tell you, at some point in the future, you're going to be massively and gravely disappointed. Versus if you're falling in love with the core part of who they are, and that's the reason why you're choosing them, that part will never change. And that piece is the piece that helps people stay together for very, very long times. Did you have anything you wanted to share about this?
You covered it so great. Couldn't have said it better.
Okay, so that's our thought. Really make a list if you're thinking about someone or talking to someone and all excited. And even if you're with somebody, go back and make a list, half the page, draw a line down the middle, and write down who is this person? What is the core of who this person is all about?
What made you fall in love with this person that was a part of their core?
That's right. And then on the other side of the page, write down what are all the features and benefits? What are all the exciting things about this person? Give an example. If you were to use me, the core that makes me me would be?
Oh, your heart. It's the most generous heart of any human I've ever met.
And so the concept of, and I've had multiple people tell me this from business setting. I remember Seth Godin one time raised my hand at an event to ask him a question. I said, hey, how would you help your son stand out if he happened to work in your company in the mailroom and the whole purple cow, do your own thing, be unique, which his son did work in the mailroom at one point. And he said, I think this question has to do with you, not me. I was like, no, it was about you, but go on. And he says, if I were you, I'd be looking for what makes you stand out since you followed a similar path as your father. And he says, I've watched your stuff online. I've listened to your videos. I've tracked you. And he said, if I'm going to give you direct feedback of what makes you different than all the other people in your space, is you really care about people. You take a lot of time to answer them and talk to them and help them for no other reason than just to help. And I was like, wow, how can this guy, branding expert, someone who's super good at looking at what makes someone stand out and be different and unique, he recognized that from an arm's length away of not really knowing me or hanging out or doing anything as far as one-on-one connection or time together. Then I looked deep, asked my wife, who spends time with me every day, watches me 24/7, asked family and friends, and they consistently told me the same thing. They said, what makes you special is how much you care. And I was like, man, that'd be a really interesting slogan to throw on the front page of the website. And I don't know, if I landed on someone's website and it's like, hi, my name is Jarek, I care. I'd be like, really, do you? Did you have to tell me? I don't know, I doubt it a little, just because it seems like a funky thing to have to tell somebody. You either do or you don't, and people can tell pretty quick if they hang out long enough. The piece that I'm hitting at here is if you happen to not know what your core is, ask the people around you. Sit down with somebody you love and say, hey, if you were to describe the most consistent part of my personality, if you were to describe the thing that makes me me, different or unique, the thing that's just 100% part of who I am, what are the top 3 words you'd use to describe that? And let them tell you. And if you get, 20, 30, 40 people to answer that question, what'll happen is you'll see the trend. You'll see the 1 or 2 words that keep popping up again and again and again and again. Now, the second question is, if they can identify what your core is, big question, you got to look inside of yourself and say, is that something you would have identified as? Looking back, when Seth Godin told me that my uniqueness was caring, I kind of wanted it to be high performance and, no cutting edge science and being really smart about stuff. I had all these ideas of what I wanted my core to be about, the things I strive to get better at every day, the stuff I'm always trying to improve. Going back to the beginning of the conversation, those are features and benefits.
Yeah, but if you didn't care genuinely about people and their well-being and becoming the best version of themselves, you would never even look into peak performance things. And I know plenty of people that look into peak performance tools and they don't really care. They're just doing it to make a quick buck because it's trendy or popular.
Sure.
You actually care, so much so that you do it on a personal basis. So I totally see how caring and peak and performance go hand in hand, and you take it so much deeper. It's a game changer. So many other people don't care and they're very surface with it.
But here's the difference. If you fell in love with me because I was into peak performance stuff, and you were like, ooh, this guy loves peak performance, I love peak performance, oh man, we're gonna make great kids together and have a great life. And then a year from now, I'm like, peak performance is great, but I wanna dig into business. I really wanna just know business now. And I started just, diving into business.
Totally.
And just all business. And you were like, man, I thought this guy was all about peak performance.
Totally.
I mean, are we really a fit?
Totally.
I don't know. I don't like business. Like, business ain't my thing.
Well, that's why you have to fall in love with the person at the core of who they are.
At the core. And so the core that would stay consistent, whether I liked peak performance or was into business or studying relationships or anything else we're up to, the core of caring would never change.
That's right.
And it'd be like, wow.
That's right.
I love the core of who this human is. Not the features and benefits are great. They're a lot of fun. They're interesting. Some of them align, some of them don't. But what happens is those will change over time. The core of the human, and in order to really spend time and connect with someone else's core, you got to know what your core is. And so I'd urge you to go back, listen to what we said. It's a little suggestion. Sit down. Write down what you think your core is, what the 1 or 2 or 3 words that describe the corest part of who you are. Don't share them with anybody. Then go ask 20, 30, 40 people around you what they believe your core is. Have them share. Look for the trends and patterns and see if you can identify what the core of who you are really is all about, based on your behavior, based on how you show up, not just what you think it is or what you hope it to be. Second, write down your features and benefits. What's the stuff you're into? What are you curious about, excited about? What do you study? What do you research? What do you dream about and wake up and work towards every day? Write down all the features and benefits too, just on the other side of the page. And then do it for your partner. Do it for someone you care about. And what'll tend to happen is you'll notice, hopefully that's the part of them you fell in love with. And if you ask your spouse or significant other, what about me did you fall in love with? Hopefully, it's the core of who you are. And if it is, wonderful. If it's not, here's a little side note for people. If it's not for some reason, that's okay.
Run! Just kidding.
Don't run.
Just kidding.
If it's not the core you fell in love with, you got to ask yourself a deep question. Am I willing? Am I excited to? Am I deeply committed to loving the core of the person I'm with? Because if you fell in love with their features and benefits, that's okay. Sometimes that stuff's exciting. It's attractive. It catches our attention. We're like, ooh, look what they're into. I'm into that. That's exciting. That's okay.
Surface.
But are you willing? Are you excited? And are you committed to loving the core of who this person is without ever wanting to change it? Without ever trying to get them to be someone other than who they are? Because if you're willing, committed to, and excited about loving the core of who they are, and they're willing, committed to, and excited about loving the core of who you are, my goodness, you'll have a great relationship. If you're only committed to loving the features and benefits, if you're only excited when they give you what you want, when you're only excited when you get all the stuff you want out of the relationship, eventually it'll fade and there won't be anything left, and you'll just be painfully hopping from relationship to relationship, hoping that the next one has it until you drain it out, and it won't turn out too well.
Also, if you're super critical of the person and criticize them, and you only really kind of tend to notice the things where they're like, or not doing X, Y, or Z, there's a good chance you're disconnected from the core, the essence, the heart and the soul of that person, and you are only being connected to or trying to connect with these features and benefits.
That's right. And so, get back to the core. Get back to, get back to what matters most on the inside. Hopefully this is helpful. If it is, tag someone in it. People are asking if I could save this. Of course, I'll download this and upload it over on our YouTube channel. If you want to check it out there, you can go to jrctv.com. Amanda wants to know.
I'd like to know, what was your biggest takeaway
Throw it in the
from
comments.
this video? Let us know. What stood out to you the most? What was an aha moment? What was a good reminder? That's all.
That's all, people. We're going to finish our walk. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye. Boop. Hey, where's my little download?
All these? Look at it.